Thank you very much for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. Now to our next leg of discussion. The Chief Consultant on Media to Governor Dapo, Abiodun of Ogun State, Mr. Kayode Akimade, has debunked allegations of diversion of local government allocations against the governor, which were made by the former chairman of the Ijebu East local government area, Wale Adedayo. Well, he says it was politically motivated. The impeached chairman of the Ijebu East local government area of Ogun State, that Wale Adedayo had accused Governor Dapo Abiodun of diverting the statutory federal funding allotted to the state's 20 local governments. And he also petitioned the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the FCC, seeking Governor Abiodun's probe on the allegations. For Mr. Adedayo, he was later suspended by the 7 councillors from the local government, his local government, and he was later held by the Department of State Security Service in Ogun State, in Abeokuta, that is. And, so much has happened since then, and that's what we want to discuss head on now. First, I have the National Coordinator Campaign Against Impunity, Shino Loremikon. It's good to see you again.
Thank you. Good morning.
Welcome. Also, the Chief Consultant on Media to Governor Dapo Abiodun, Kayode Akimade. Welcome to the program. We thank you both for joining us.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
But before we come to you, because your stance on the matter has been, well publicized, before I take you up, on some of the issues that stood out, let me hear Mr. Loremikon's, assessment of the issue at hand. The story has gone on to add that Mr. Adedayo has, been arraigned. He pleaded not guilty. He was remanded at the Correctional Center in Ogun State. He's now out, going by the reports that, emanated early this morning. He's now out, but he's not backing out on his stance in his allegations against the governor, despite his the governor's stance. But what do you think?
Thank you very much. There is time for everything. We have been watching events in Ogun State, mostly in recent time. And then due to unfolding events, we have to call some of our friends together, and we had a coalition of civil society for good governance. Wale Adedayo is just one of the issues. There are also other issues. Another issue of concern to us is the court crisis in Ishagamu. If we feel unconcerned, the police has labeled every youth as cultists in Ishagamu. And Ishagamu is a transit town. So if somebody is coming from Benin, Akure, or Ondo, and you are labeled, suspected to be a cultist, you may end up spending days in custody than Wale Adedayo. So the issue is that Ogun State government, a friendly state, some of us have vested interest in Ogun State. My mother is from Abeokuta. That aside, Ogun State is saying ABC on issues of public concerns and affairs. We are saying XYZ. And I think forums like this are best places to understand ourselves so that we can make progress. Ogun State produced late about Ogunde, who said Yoruba run. We have to run. When you look at Ogun State produced Wole Soyinka. Ogun State produced Beko Ransom Kuti father, who started trade unionism in Nigeria, TUC, Teachers Council, the Teachers Union. The item they will sing in Ogun State was produced by Fela's father. Everybody know what Fela's mother did. So Ogun State, if every other state is doing it, Ogun State should not do it. We have to be cautious, to be careful. We should not escalate issues. All these recent developments are deliberate or otherwise to escalate issues. Otherwise, what Wale Adedayo has done, my own ABC to it, let the governor sue him for libel. You don't need police, SSS to be interfering. And to the glory of God, the former governor of Ogun State of blessed memory, Bisi Onabanjo, had issues with Concord, an establishment, not an individual. Instead of going the other way around, he just sued Concord for libel. Concord paid compensation. This, to me, should be a family affairs. Wale Adedayo and the governor, same party. He wrote Segun Oshoba, same party. You resolve it among yourself. Give him a libel suit. Let him be running the council. Let the people judge. The way they are going, the people cannot understand why they are quarreling and using police to arrest themselves, putting themselves in prison custody.
All right, that said, let me check with Mr. Akimade here, who is the chief consultant on media to Governor Dapo Abiodun. In terms of this libel suit, Mr. Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria, also, said something similar to what Shino Loremikon here has said, saying rather than arrest him upon a complaint or petition of the governor, why don't you sue him instead? And is that what we are seeing in this criminal matter against Mr. Adedayo?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, it's very important for us to put issues in proper perspective. Just like my friend there has said, Wale Adedayo and the governor belong to the same political party. And as a political institution, a party must have internal means of resolving conflict and conflict resolution. But very unfortunate, this did not play out in this in the scheme of things. And that's why we are imposing some political motivation into it. And secondly, for a serving chairman to allege that he has been receiving zero allocation in Nigerian context, it's a very weighty allegation. Weighty allegation because what that means is that since he became chairman, a kobo has not come into that local government. And he has spent about 26 months as chairman before he was removed. So what he's telling us is that all the staff in that local government, that they've not received a dime. What he's telling us is that he himself has not been receiving his security vote and many others. For him to have come out to make such allegation, he must be able to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. The governor too has flesh and blood. Because you are a governor, does not give anybody a room, a license to begin to malign and blackmail you for no just cause. I am interested in the party. I want Wale to come out and tell us where and how this money was diverted. It should be of public interest. It should be of concern to civil society too, because they must know. But a situation where some people have come out and we have facts and figures to show that money comes to this local government that went due, and a serving chairman is coming out to say that he received zero allocation and that a governor diverted over 10 billion naira. It's unfortunate because the federal government that created joint allocation account committee did that for a purpose. It wasn't Dapo Abiodun that created that account. It was a product of a protest by some local government officials in the past that when money sent to local government, when it gets to the local government, the chairman did not spend the money as it's supposed to be spent. Most of them will not get salary and everything. They went to the National Assembly. They invited Labour Union. They invited Nogi and everything. And in the process, National Assembly make an act of parliament, jack. And this jack is not peculiar to Ogun State. It's not peculiar to Ogun State. So why single Ogun State out? And in the process, the governor is not signatory to jack. The governor does not attend jack meetings. Chairmen, traditional institutions, and some stakeholders do attend this jack meeting. Why do you know how to put governor in this? That's why we are saying that there is a motive hunting of a motiveless malignity. There are certain things that we don't know.
Chinoloremikon here represents the civil society that have also been monitoring the development, and Mr. Kayode Akimade is chief consultant on media to the governor. I asked earlier on about, the fact that the governor appears to be fighting back now. There is a case that has been instituted against Mr. Adedayo, but there is still the narrative that the governor appears to be persecuting the man in the eye of the storm, or let me just say the former local government chairman. First, it was the issue of his detention, at the DSS, and now what we're seeing. How do you respond to that?
Thank you very much. It is rather unfortunate that people are reading undue meanings to some action taken by government. And just like you rightly advised, the governor has gone to court. Government has gone to court to clear government name and even the name of the governor. That's how to put the issue of diversion of funds to rest. And more importantly, it is not the governor is not DSS. It is the governor. It is not the governor that will direct the affairs of DSS and how they operate in any state. And more importantly, when you look at this issue, when Mr. Wale Adedayo made that allegation, instead of limiting it to just the letter he wrote to our elder statesman, Chief Oshoba, apart from sending it to the FCC, he also went around to radio stations and to deliberately incite the public against the government. The security operative has the right to play their role to ensure that. I believe that he was invited based on that, so as to be able to, because that's in a society where, take for instance, somebody in Lagos just now rise up and said the governor of Lagos has embezzled us or take some money away. People will react, and when it gets to radio, there might be negative reactions, and there might be tension in town. He was invited so as to be able to calm all those things down. It wasn't the governor's intention. It was not precipitated by the governor. These people as security operatives of the state, working for the state, take action based on what they saw, not by the governor. But what we did was to ensure that justice is served, not only to Wale Adedayo, but to the governor. Because if you come out to allege that somebody diverted some fund belonging to local government, is a very serious allegation. You also claimed that in the last 26, 27 months, you did not receive a dime from the state coffer. And the way Jack is screwed, there is no state government that can have access to that fund, because when at every Jack meeting of state, I can tell you, those who are attending Jack's meeting in state, we have the Commissioner of Finance, we have the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, we have the 20 local government chairmen, we have the representative of workers in local government, we have NOGE, we have labor union, we have pensioners, all major stakeholders. We sit down together, and they will not, at the meeting, they will identify how much came to that state in that particular month. And when that amount is released to them at the meeting, they will now determine how to share that money. And more importantly, because of the crisis between the former chairmen and some workers in the local government, federal government identifies some first-line charges that when money comes to local government, irrespective of the situation, this type of people must be paid. And they are local government workers, primary school teachers, health workers, traditional institution, pensioners within the local government, and it was stated in that law passed. So what state government will do is that the moment the money comes, they will take that money upfront from all the 20 local government allocation and pay in bulk to those people concerned, so that those people will receive their salary as at when due. And if you look back, there are some state government, when the allocation was not sufficient, Instead of paying the total sum, they pay percentage. They are paying percentages because they said, okay, this is the amount we receive. We receive 60% this month, and we are paying 60% or across board. But in Ogun State, the governor did not do that. When allocations become insufficient, the government added more. I have documents here to prove this. And this document, because when Mr. Adedayo claimed that between 2019 and now that he's been receiving zero allocation, we have this Joint Account Allocation Committee, JAC, for the Joint Committee from between July and December 2019. In July 2019, the money that came to local government in Ogun State was 3.4 billion, 414 million 410,000 and some kobos.
So it's shared out.
The money, first line charges, then was 3,570 million.
So these monies are shared out.
They are shared out. The money shared out is even more than the money received from the from Jack account. And this, the government cannot even take payee out of it. The pay for that month was 148.8 million. And they couldn't pay. In August, the same thing, 3.2 billion was received as allocation in July 2019. And the money paid was 3.3. So the government had to add additional 100 million to it before everybody could be paid. So why should somebody now come out and say that he did not receive, he received the allocation? Why should somebody now come up and say that the governor has diverted 10-something billion of local government allocation? It's very unfortunate. It's unfair. The governor's tool, they are like us. We shouldn't, because they are serving us, we should not treat them as if they are rogues. Some of them have their own pedigree before they come to government. Some of them have children, some of them have families, and their family have feeling for them. If you want to come to equity, you come with clean hands. If you are said, okay, yeah, and what I want to use this opportunity to please ask Mr. Wale to provide evidence.
Okay, I'll come back to you, but I want to also compare what Mr. Akimade has said now. Ashina Loremikon, what do you think? Because it has gone beyond writing to the former governor, Olusegun Oshoba. There are petitions on the allegations against the governor before the DSS and the EFCC.
Yeah. Like I mentioned to you, that it's rather unfortunate. Ogun State is saying ABC. We in the civil society are saying XYZ. As a student of political science, in your first year, you'll be told arms of government, executive, legislators. If we don't want our democracy to backslide, after Wale wrote an allege of funds misappropriation, instead of us activating the security agencies, like my friend said, he said there is justice for Wale, who is expressing freedom of expression. There is justice for the governor. There is also justice for the society. I would have expected the governor to approach the State House of Assembly and provide all these documents. These documents are just in the studio here. The studio is not known as an arm of government. And that's why we in the civil society, we are saying Ogun State House of Assembly, set up a public probe, invite people like us. We also know what we hear. I was laughing. Wale Adedayo has been impeached. Good luck. Balarabe Musa was impeached in the Second Republic. But painfully too, as we are saying justice, justice, we also found out that in the same Ogun State, at 3 a.m., when a reasonable person should be sleeping, state agencies went to a private property and brought it down. When I go around town, I will see mark, stop work. There was no stop work in Ijebu-Ode. where a private property was brought down, 3 a.m., either Saturday or Sunday. Even when the property owner has engaged a lawyer who got an injunction. I would have also expected that if we want to demonstrate the intellectualism that Ogun State is known for, you just ask your personnel, hold on, go and discharge that order first. Whether it was gotten through what we call Jankara practice or kangaroo, discharge it first before you move forward. You brought that property down. And I'm also saying the same thing with the court issue. Different persons are being arrested. The public is watching. Wale Adedayo spent 3 days with the DSS investigating, 3 days, 24 hours times 3. Whereas the law says you can arrest and detain, but you must be charged to court within 24 hours. Then police that started their own. Why can't you invite Wale Adedayo? They took 10 armed policemen to Ife to go and arrest Wale Adedayo and brought him to Ileweron, spent the night there, and then hurriedly on Monday, they went to court. Thank God, the court granted him bail. It's an experience. Many people went to jail. It does not matter, but we are saying these are things, if we really understand the act of conflict resolution, these are things the state government will have done as a state known for intellectualism, that it won't go to all this level. And it has not ended. It has not ended.
So maybe you give me...
Let me round up to it. We are also concerned. I have friends who live at Alagbole. When I drive there, it's an hell.
Okay.
Infrastructures are down.
Okay, all right.
Comrade,
so you said a lot, but what's your
Comrade,
response, Mr. Kamara?
We are here, first and foremost, to discuss the issue of Wale Adedayo.
Adedayo.
If anytime you invite us to come and discuss the issue of demolition, we all have time for that. We don't need to create a diversionary style in our discussion.
On the issue of why we are here, gentlemen, Mr. Loremiko also said in his last analysis that what has the House of Assembly done in this regard? What has been
that's what I want to talk about.
Yes, what has been the kind of intervention or engagement?
If truly has been following trend of things in Ogun State, we wouldn't have said this, because I'm aware that the second day after Wale wrote his letter, the House of Assembly, led by the Speaker, invited the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs to come and present their documents to the House of Assembly. I got this document from that sitting. So they came and they presented this. And the Speaker said, well, we are here with this, but we are expecting...
So this was generated by the House through their own, are you saying through their own independent?
I got this from the House of Assembly when the people concerned in sharing allocation to local government came to talk about it based on Wale Adedayo.
But did they reveal the source of the document?
The source of the document is now, if you Google Jack, joint account, it's in public glare. If you Google, you get all these facts and figures. They are there. If you Google Jack, you know how much was allocated to Ogun State every month. If you want to know it within the next 10 years, they are there. So they are public documents. They are not secret. And the amount Ogun State pay to augment is also there. You know. So for my comrade to say that, okay, Ogun State the governor did not go to the House of Assembly. But if you had been following the trend of story in Ogun State, we would have known that was done. And that's why we are impugning some political motive to this.
Yes, and I wanted to also ask that, because if it is all...
is an APC member.
And
I want to tell you...
but let me ask, Mr. Kimade, if it is all that you say it is, the governor has, maintained innocence on the matter, that he has a name to protect, and you are here to buttress on that point. But where do you think this is coming from? Because you've spoken about a motive. Where is this coming from? Where is this, outburst from?
We are in a political environment, and if you look deep, we know that there are more to this. Very, very important. Because Wale Adedayo and the governor, they belong to the same political party. And I'm aware that in 2019, when the governor was elected, he invited Wale Adedayo to come and be one of his media consultants. So Wale Adedayo is not a stranger to the governor. And I have known Wale Adedayo and governor since 1996. There was a day I met Wale Adedayo in Mr. Governor's office before he became governor. And Wale Adedayo told me that, Egben is my brother. We came from the same area. And because he is close to my friend and my brother, I too also give him that regard of a brother to a friend. The governor appointed him as special advisor. He later met the governor that he wanted to be Katika chairman. The governor obliged him. And the governor also created opportunity for him to become chairman of a local government. You are the chairman of a local government. You have issue with your governor. And you did not find means of reaching. He has his number. He assessed him. He did not find means of getting in touch with me. Mr. Governor, these are some of the things that are bothering my mind. And for you to now go and make a flippant allegation that has no root, you know that there is more to it. The tendency is to create crisis in Ogun State, to wear the governor a borrowed robe, and we thank God that the governor has rejected the robe. And I want to appeal to our people to ask Mr. Wale Adedayo to come and he has made allegations. He should come and prove the allegation. He should come and prove it. He who alleges must be able to prove.
Let me also ask Mr. Loremiko, because some questions have also been directed at the defendant in the person of Wale Adedayo. And of course, there is an issue that he is impeached now. His members of his constituents were backed by a particular petition leveled against him. In fact, there are a host of allegations against him, alleging that he withdrew about 4 million naira from the local government account for empowerment in 2022, which never took place. Wastage of 2 million on Isheshe Day on August the 20th. They are also saying that a question was even asked. There are so many. I don't want to take time, but a question was asked: how has the chairman been running the local government affairs without funds? If indeed he says that there were no funds for him to run with, so how then shouldn't he also provide these answers? How legitimate are these questions put across to him?
Thank you very much. I think I want us to remember what my friend said. He's mentioned his position is close to the position of Justice Oputa and some other former justices of the Supreme Court, who said justice is not one way. To the victim, to the society, and to the person being attacked, or you alleging. Justice is not one way. I want to know if fair hearing goes to all these things we are saying. You can't put somebody in DSS facility, a low police command, and you are saying fair hearing is going on. We, as members of the civil society, we wrote a petition and handed it over to the office of the Speaker, Ogun State House of Assembly.
Okay, what was the object of the petition?
On this issue, okay. Wale Adedayo.
And what was the stance?
No response yet.
What was your stance?
Our stand is that whether Wale is right or wrong, there must be a public hearing. And fairness must be there. He himself, who alleged Wale Adedayo, must be there, so that everybody can see. Like we are told, I have gone to many sites before. You'll find out that it works in the morning, it doesn't work in the afternoon. You'll find out that what you are looking for is not there. However, the reality of it is I've not looked at Ogun State Jack in my life. I have never. But now we have information. And that's why I said, your station has done something good. The debate must continue. Whether A, B, C, or X, Y, Z, it cannot be end of discussion. We must help our democracy to grow. I know Wale Adedayo from my undergraduate days. I don't know where he's living in Ijebu. I've never been to his local government secretariat before, But I know I once visited him in his home in Ikorodu. On Wale Adedayo Facebook, I see him exhibiting project he's doing. Road rehabilitation. He will show the old road, the new road, while work is going on. I've seen him doing borehole. But I also know, as a student of society, that many local governments also do what they call internal generated revenue. So where he got the money to do the job, I don't know. He's the one to come and explain it. But what I'm saying is this. All these arguments we are going will have been saved if the governor just take that singular action of a civil suit against him, libel. He will be doing his own job. I will be doing my own job. Wale will be doing his job. And the court will say, shut up. Don't destroy this man's reputation. But all this action, we have activated SSS under the excuse that we want to maintain public order. Which public order? Which, since then, who has taken over to the streets? Who have destroyed public property? The issue has been on for over 2 weeks. So under the pretense that I am the one, I have the authority, what I call abuse of power. And unfortunately, we are saying this is our own democracy. I know what I did to chase away the military.
All right.
And I know what many Nigerians suffered to have a democratic government. The gain of democratic government should be to the benefit of everybody. The whole world is watching us, how we resolve issues of social affairs among ourselves. Using all this state machinery does not help.
All right. Mr. Loremikom, what do you have to say in response to that? Is the government, how far is the government willing to go in, defending its name, so to speak? He has called for a public hearing. Some people have also called for an audit, because you have come here with certain documents, but specifically on the issue of how local government funds are disbursed and spent. What is the government doing about that? You've also talked about some subventions by the state government, but on paper, documentation that is to show that these monies are used for what they said they are earmarked for, and the important issue of auditing. Where is the place of that in Ogun State?
Yeah, thank you very much. I will first of all react to what my friend said, and it's just an advice that before we find ourselves in a media space like this, it is also important for our people, because I also belong to the group, to try as much as possible to investigate. We should not just jump gun. If somebody alleges that, hey, we invite people in government, we want to know the true position of things before we go out, so that we don't make mistake. You cannot hear from Wale Adedayo alone and refuse to hear from governor. Absolutely. And you take action. That's unfair. That's an injustice against government. Every local government, every state government do come up with an audit account every year. And I know their local government, because in some of the documents I saw some letters, correspondence indicating that there is need for us to do this and do that in the local government. We cannot run local government affair for Mr. Wale Adedayo. And he has the right to execute any project of his choice in his local government. And you can now imagine what my father just said, that in his Facebook account, he saw some projects being executed before and after. But the same person came out to say that he has been receiving zero allocation. It's very unfortunate. And more importantly, there are some allegations that the councillors in Ijebu East leveled against him. It's also very important for them to prove it and for him to defend those allegations. One of those allegations was the fact that he collected 5.2 million naira for the building of chairs, making of chairs in some schools. And very unfortunate, only 20 were made with 5.2 million naira. When they asked him, he said the money was used for some other thing, because the person who want to do it did not do it very well. If you want to go to equity, you go with clean hands. Since he has alleged the governor of doing certain things, he has the right to prove to the whole world that, okay, what he said was right or wrong. So also the allegation levied against him at the local government level, he must also come out clean, so that people, because it is not, we must not have two laws for two different people, because you are governor, because you are local. Law must be equal. We must be treated equal before the law. So it's not just, so if he has done something untowards in the local government, that thing also should be investigated. The one he said that he has information that some money was diverted, it must be investigated. And Nigeria must know the truth. And that's why the position of the government of Ogun State is that he has made some allegations, and he must be ready to come and prove it.
But you talked about investigation, so who does that? Is the government willing to take up the challenge?
If the governor believes in the rule of law, in some other crime, some people will resort to self-help, jungle justice. The governor went to court because of this, and he has done the needful. That's what a normal, a responsible governor would do. Instead of taking law into his own hand, he never sent any talks or any political something against the person accusing. He said, okay, let us go to the court of law and prove this case. If truly I have diverted any cover from the local government, let the public know. And if not, let the person who alleges face the consequences.
Final words from you, 30 seconds. Can you spare that?
Yeah, I just feel that it's good for the government to go back to the drawing board.
Okay.
Feedback could be positive, it could be negative. We still have a long way to go, and Ogun State must develop.
Mr. Shina Oloremi, the National Coordinator Campaign Against Impunity and Chief Consultant on Media to Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, Kayode Akimade, we thank you both very much for your contributions on TVC Breakfast this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Before we go, let's quickly tell you that all the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection at all with TVC News. From all of us here, we say a big thank you to you all for keeping us company on the show. Remember, TVC Breakfast continues again on Saturday morning, and we'll be delighted to have you join us again. Up next is Your View with the ladies. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.